Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. The Bank of England has started an alarm over the rising trend of 35-year mortgages. We're going to analyse the article in a little bit. Before we do that, just to let you know, our friends at Progressive are hosting their flagship multiple streams of property income event. It is 3 days of fantastic free property training, great networking as well. Aaron and I have attended many before, and they are really, really good fun, especially helpful if you're getting started in property, or if you're there or if you want to go and do some networking, or if you are looking to have a bit of a refresher. And they're talking about so many different property strategies, mentality as well, loads of different things. It's Friday the 20th of October to Sunday the 22nd of October. It's completely free to attend. The link is in the description below, so go and check it out. It's in Peterborough in England, about an hour's drive north of London, or an hour's train journey north of London when the trains are running, so go and check that out. We're going back to this article. Bank of England sounds alarm over rising 35-year mortgage trends. So the financial sector, or apparently people in the financial sector, have voiced concerns over the increasing number of homeowners opting for 35-year mortgages. The move, which is apparently seen as a response to the bank's decision to raise base rates, presents both an opportunity and a potential risk for the country's economy. Yet there's good and bad things about pretty much everything in life, so I'm not surprised. The article goes on and says over the past 2.5 years, percentage of new mortgages with terms of at least 35 years has gone up from around about 4% up to 12% roughly. And that's on the back of base rate having increased from 0.1% up to 5.25% at the time of recording. So why could this potentially be problematic? Well, it depends on your view. It depends on what your plan is, what your economic outlook is. Ultimately, when something goes up from effectively 0% to 5.25%, whether it's your home, whether it's your portfolio, whether it's banks with a lot of commercial property on their books, when you try and refinance that, that's going to have a massive impact on your cash flow per month, without a shadow of a doubt. You're going from 0% to 5%, and if you're talking mortgages in the hundreds of thousands, that could make quite a big impact to your outgoing on your mortgage. So it's all about cash flow. It's about managing the cash flow, understanding the risks, and understanding what's going on. So what people are deciding to do is to either extend their mortgage term to 35 years, or they're looking at going on interest-only mortgages. Now, the mainstream media, and this is the impact I get from this particular article, is the mainstream media are looking at this and throwing their toys at the pram, going, oh, this is no good, etc., etc., etc. And as with anything, there are advantages and disadvantages to doing interest-only mortgages. The article goes back and says extending the term of a mortgage can seem like a win-win. I'd probably argue that it is. It lowers the monthly repayments. Yep. Also, if you then move to an interest-only mortgage, that can lower potentially monthly payments as well. And it makes it easier for homeowners to manage their finances. Absolutely spot on. You've got to make sure your income's higher than your outgoings. It does say that the flip side of the situation is that the borrowers end up paying back more interest over the life of the loan. Yes, that is also true, but what the article is not taking into consideration at all is the rate of inflation. It doesn't take into account the rate of inflation. So what do we mean by that? Well, if you have let's just say your mortgage is £500,000, you live in a big house, your mortgage is £500,000 and you're at 5% a year interest only, fine. Well, with inflation being what it is, inflation is going to erode away the natural debt of that mortgage anyway. So you put yourself on a 30-year mortgage, £500,000 mortgage at 5%. Okay, well, what happens in 30 years' time? Is that £500,000 worth the same as it is now? Absolutely not. Why? Inflation. So inflation, as we record this video, is relatively high. The highest it's been for quite a while. Chances are it's going to dip. It's going to get higher again. It might dip a third time, and it might go higher again for the third time. But normally speaking, inflation, let's just say it's between 2 and 4% per year. Well, that compounded over 30 years means that that £500,000 mortgage that you've taken out now, yes, you'd owe £500,000 in 30 years' time, but you'll see that inflation has eroded away the debt of inflation has eroded away that nominal amount. Now, that's what this article doesn't tell you about, and this is where you get the either smarter people, dare I say it, or people that don't just take everything they read on mainstream media and are thinking outside the box. It's the whole point of this video, that none of this mentions inflation at all. So yes, whilst going on to an interest-only mortgage does mean that that capital amount does need to be repaid at the end of the term. What the article is not telling you is hang on, with the rate of inflation and with inflation over the years, then that £500,000, although on paper it's still £500,000 in 30 years' time, in nominal terms, in reality, it's going to be worth far less. So inflation is doing the job for you. This is why a lot of people like to go to interest-only mortgages. The second thing on interest-only mortgages is that it's about economic timing. Now, like trying to time the market when you're trading, it's very difficult to get it spot on. Same with property, and this is why Mark Champ of Wolf Financial says the same thing. I say the same thing. We've got some great episodes coming up on the podcast soon with Adrian Benjamin, who's talking a lot about insurances and finances and protecting yourselves. Interest-only mortgages are fine. It's only if you're trying to refinance them at a poor market time that it becomes an issue. If you're refinancing them at a good time in the market, doesn't really matter. If you're trying to refinance when we have economic challenges like we do at the moment, then that's where you can get caught with your pants down. So hey ho. I'm rounding on a little bit. Point being that this article is saying that interest-only mortgages, more people are moving to it, and more people are extending the mortgage term. That's absolutely fine. People are doing it because the interest rates have gone up and they want to manage their finances better. Again, all of that's absolutely fine. And the article is saying that, well, hang on a minute, actually it could lead to, as we say here, increase in long-term debt burdens, potential ripple effects throughout the economy. There's me clicking on the wrong thing. Potential ripple effects throughout the economy, etc., etc. But at no point does this article talk about inflation and saying that inflation actually is going to erode away that nominal debt of that mortgage. And that if people are thinking about that, or if people even understand that, then chances are people are going to be looking at interest-only mortgages and going, yeah, that will do. Thank you very much. That's absolutely fine, because they're understanding the economics behind it. Not a lot of people understand that. And that's the whole point of doing these videos, is that we tell people and share this with people, because more people need to know this. I'm sure you agree with that. More people need to know this. As mentioned at the start of the video, head over to Progressive 20th to the 22nd of October, completely free to attend. Great 3-day event. Link is in the show notes. Please use that notification bell to subscribe to the YouTube channel, number one. Number two, the more comments and whatever that are being left, the more the viral the videos can go. We need your help as much as we can with regards to pushing out the name of Property Nomads as best as possible, and use that notification bell to get notified when we do new videos. So 35-year mortgages, yeah, more people are taking them, but it's really not as bad as the mainstream media are making it out to be. Not as dangerous. It just depends on your timing and your understanding of economics. See you in the next video.